Hi, this is an introduction to my latest 5e adventure called Orcs versus Goblins. What it describes is a kind of three-way struggle between a group of orcs, a village, and a group of goblins. Now, the goblins and the orcs both have occupied abandoned fortifications, which were meant to protect a river bridge and a small village there. And what's happened is, as the Lord's focus has moved away, that those towers, the garrisons were diminished, and eventually they were abandoned. Um, and the orcs and goblins have occupied these abandoned towers, putting them in a position of strength. But you have this standoff and this three-way conflict. Now, the way the adventure is set up is I start off with the essential elements. Now, if you're going to parachute this adventure into your existing campaign, there are certain things that have to exist for the adventure to work. And so you can look at those, and if you take those and think, okay, I need a river, so obviously, and the village of New Creek, so you're going to have to place that on your map. Uh, there's you can work in how the uh, characters are going to end up there. The adventure assumes that the villagers have sent a notice saying kind of adventurers needed or swords for hire, that sort of thing. So you're going to have to place those notices in other places in your game world for your characters to see. So these are essential things which have to happen for the adventure to work. Well, I then have establishing questions. And what these do, if you're doing this as a one shot, you can work it through with your players, ask them, get their input, and help them shape the world. If it is uh, you running this for a group as part of a campaign, then you can use these questions to interact with the player characters' backgrounds, and the nature of the world. Now, there's questions here that are: is New Creek a human village, an elven village? Is it a mix? How cosmopolitan is it? Um, and how does that then have implications with relations between the orcs and the goblins? Have you got kind of these D&D style racial hatreds going on? So yeah, those are the establishing questions. We then go into cause and effect. And basically, this goes back, in this case, 20 years, and it covers what happened back then and all of the dominoes that fell in order until the present day. And then you're playing to find out. And the reason for that is, if you, as a GM, you know these events. If a character wants to talk to someone that's lived in the village right from the start, they will remember these things. If they want to cast a spell like Speak to Dead and speak to someone that was alive 20 years ago, then you know, you can answer those questions. Whatever happens, whatever direction the characters, the players and the characters decide to investigate, the actual cause and effects, and the chain of events, so you can improvise and answer those questions, whatever they may be. Then we get into the actual meat of uh, the setup here. Now, I describe New Creek, but I do not describe most of the NPCs because because you're parachuting this in to an adventure, and I've already said we don't know whether it's an elven village, a dwarven village, a half elf village. It could be anyone. Any NPCs I create for a village I don't even know the population of would have to be so bland and generic that they would have no value. So I describe the kind of the nature of the village here, but later on you'll see another section which will help you describe different factions within the village. So this is New Creek. There's the map. the bridge over the river. The goblins are to the west. The orcs are on the river, on the east side of the river to the south. So there's the goblin stronghold, and I describe the setup of the stronghold, the appearance, and that sort of thing. This next one is the Orc Tower, and I do the same with them. Now, from here on in, what I give you is the different factions and their relationships. So the goblins and the view of the villagers. You have their relationship. The goblins' position, what their feelings, their beliefs, how they feel about all of this, and how it can play out. Then you got the goblins versus the orcs, how they feel about the orcs, how they're trying to manipulate them, um, and that sort of thing. Then now you've got the villagers versus the goblins. And this can help you. The position is kind of their attitudes. Um, so you can use that to maybe create an NPC that holds each of these uh, beliefs or can convey these pieces of information, and then you've got how to bring it across at the table. And then you've got the villagers versus the orcs, which is the same thing. It's just their relationship to this other threat. And then I do the same thing for the orcs. There's the orcs' view of the villagers and the orcs' view of the goblins, and then the characters are likely to go and explore either side of the river. So I've got little random encounters there for the on the goblin side of the river and the orc side of the river. Now this whole thing can be resolved through negotiation, or playing off one side against the other. You do not have to go in and wipe out every goblin and every orc to save the village. You can manipulate them, and that's why you have these positions and those beliefs. So you can uh, players that are prepared to you dig in a little bit more about what's going on rather than leaping straight for their sword first of all. Uh, they can solve this almost peaceably. I have detailed the total strengths of the forces. So likewise, a hack and slash party could decide to take out one or other of the parties, and that will change the dynamics between them. Um, and because at the moment the three forces are kind of in an equilibrium, and as soon as the players land and change that balance, is going to change the relationships between them. So that's it. That's all about solving the standoff. And then the next part of the booklet, you've got all the stat blocks. You've got the goblin shaman, the goblin guards, goblin scouts, the orc captain, orc archers, orc soldiers, and then the OGL at the end. Okay, so that's what you get. Thank you for watching.